Hello and welcome. Today we've got Tom Numbers and we've got Brice, and we'll be discussing family bloodlines. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Telegram channel and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And I will also be leaving Brice and Tom Numbers links below in the description so you can also follow them too. Now, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview. If we choose our words wisely, then I will leave the full interview on YouTube. Is that right? And is that right, Tom and Brice?
Yeah, that's good, Nick. We'll be very good.
We'll be very good. Okay, great. So how are you guys? Thank you for joining me. And I just want to say that it was a wonderful thing on Monday that Brice and Tom as well and many others have put a video for Donald J. Trump, and that was really nice. Brice, I believe you edited the video. Is that correct?
Yes, I had the pleasure of editing the video, and I cried all day Sunday editing it because it was just so happy tears. It was just so emotional to see such love coming from so many people from all over the world. And that's what we're about on this side of the board, aren't we? We're about sharing that love and that light of humanity. Yeah. So it was truly an honor to stand next to all you guys and to wish him a very happy birthday.
You did a great job, Brice. It's incredible. So Brice came up with the idea about, I don't know, a couple of days before, and then
we did
it all, and it was brilliant, you know.
A week before, I was like, I said to myself that I need to do a video, by myself. Of course, I was just thinking of me. And then you came out.
You got to do America first, Nick first, Tom first, Brice first, Charlie first, Will first, and then we should everyone else, you know.
Oh no. What I didn't mean it in that way. What I meant was, I thought of the idea of doing the video myself, and then you called me and you was like, "Yeah, we're thinking of putting all the videos together," and I thought it was wonderful, and I just thought great minds think alike.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Do you know what it reminded me of? Because I've watched it back a few times, and I know some people say I've got no problem saying I like, watching it. I watch most of my videos back, and it's great. And but it reminded me. Do you remember Band-Aid? Do they know it's Christmas? So it kind of felt a bit like that, because it was like building the anticipation with the music that Brice chose, and it was coming like each bit was a crescendo, and then someone came on, and we had people like Jack Kidd that haven't been on a video for a while. It was great to have him and the ladies from Holland with the fall of the video, etc. Yeah, the C word, and Jetson White. People really haven't probably seen Jetson before, and we had Charlie and Simon and Janine. I think Janine's was one of the. I mean, everyone's was great, but Janine just was so honest and authentic. She's like, I never really used to be a President Trump fan, but I saw the error of my ways through her gift, through her tarot cards, and it was just really, the whole thing was moving, it was really moving, and it was just a great thing to be a part of. And Brice, again, thanks for the idea and asking me to help you with it, and just, you just did a brilliant job. You did a brilliant job.
It was all of us. It was all of us, and it was all of our viewers too. They were included in that message.
I know, the viewers. Thank you, viewers. People have been so amazing with all their comments, and so many people. I've felt teary watching it, and people have said they've got emotional and they've cried. It's just a brilliant thing, because we all were so sincere and just honest. I mean, it's an overused word, but authentic, and just true to what we've believed in this last year and longer for many of us. And to say that to President Trump, and I know he's watched it, I know he's seen it, and his family haven't, and everyone involved, behind the screen, on the screen, all the fans and followers, everyone can give themselves a pat on the back. And it was like, do they know it's Christmas? And Charlie said something interesting. He said, happy birthday and a happy new year. And it was like, okay, the new year, what's that? And then it's like, and you just said to me about Tamara saying about President Trump, the King of Kings. And I totally concur with that. And the numbers confirm that as well. And it was like Christmas. And that's what made me think of the thing with Band-Aid. And it was this collaboration and people felt it, it was like Band-Aid for the movement. So brilliant. But the King of Kings, so this is what Tamara said. And so is 33, it's Don. King is 41. 41 is USA. My initials as well, so I love that, TSB. But the king, 74. And I said at the beginning in the intro how President Trump was age 74 for that previous year. 74 equals Jesus. It equals Messiah. It equals Muhammad. It equals tarot. It equals London. It equals the word and action point, which President Trump is the king of doing. If you take it further and you say King of Kings, that comes to 122, which is millennium. Kansas City is 122, but the King of Kings comes to 155, which is the millennium. And if you do 1 times 55, that comes to heaven, and it comes to millennia. And it also comes to JFK Jr., JR. So just incredible. And if you do they know, well, Band-Aid, to keep on the theme, and then I'll hand over to Brice, but Band-Aid, 21 plus age is 14, comes to 35, comes to a few things, comes to Eric Trump, comes to Bond, comes to Orb, comes to a few things. And but then also, do they know it's Christmas, comes to 298, which comes to a few things, a few dates. And one of them is the 4th of July, which comes to 210. But then you add Trump, 88, takes you to 298. So the 4th of July, Trump, interesting enough, 4th of July is the 185th day of the year. His birthday was 165th day of the year, and 185 comes to Donald John Trump. And it also came to, like I said, tie and pocket square, and President Trump wanted me to don my suit, which it was a pleasure to do so. But 185, Donald John Trump is the 185th day of the year, which is the 4th of July. So
excellent, Tom. So
thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, those are definitely 5D synchronizations with, the higher awareness, consciousness stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
it's amazing how we can still do that despite everything that's going on around us. So
absolutely. So let's get into the bloodlines, the family bloodlines, if they're connected with the souls. What does it mean to be a different bloodline? How can you find out, what blood group you are, and how can you search what it means to be that blood type?
So we talked about this a little bit last time with you, where we just talked about the Rh negative factor. And I got so many responses where people wanted to know more and more and more. And there is a full video on my channel, if we don't cover everything today, where I go through all the different blood types. So this is just going to be kind of a basic overview for you guys. Now, as the lovely Tamara said this morning, which that video will be up soon, and as I concur, we have, as a human being, as one person, we have multiple different layers. We're like an onion, right? You've heard that, where we have layers. But if we go down to the very, very basics of who we are as people, you can look at us in 2 different categories: nature and soul, or spirit, Atman, Brahman, as they call it in the East sometimes. We're just going to say soul for just the lack of a better word, and just that's a word that most people understand. Now, your nature, or in yoga we call that prakriti, is anything that has a birth, a life, and a death. And because of that, nature is always changing. Now, your soul is eternal. Your soul just keeps going, whether your body dies and you go into another body, or you move on to heaven, whatever you believe happens, your soul never dies. Now, your soul is therefore separate from the entity of your body, or as Tamara says, your meat suit. Right? But your meat suit, your DNA in this nature, has to be able to guide your soul through its mission in this particular life, if that makes sense. So you have to have, so if your dharma, if your purpose is to be a really great athlete, you're going to have a body that's going to allow you to achieve that, right? Or to be a musician, you're going to have a body, a talent within the DNA that's going to allow you to do that. So part of the DNA coding is found in our blood. Now, this is all over the Bible. If you guys come from biblical backgrounds, this is all in the Old Testament. And we just went over our heads for a lot of time. In fact, in the book of Leviticus, it says, actually interesting, Leviticus 17:11 says, "For the life of the flesh is in its blood." All right. So your blood contains your DNA coding as well. And we know that there's a lot of information that's been held back from the general public. Now, there is a missing book of the Bible that's called the Book of Enoch. A lot of people are familiar with this book, and it talks about the Watchers. It talks about the Nephilim, the giants. It talks about these beings, whether they were angels or extraterrestrials or a mixture of both, whatever your opinion is on that, that came to earth and mated with women. And this created, in a lot of people's opinions, a particular form of blood, which is the Rh negative, which is what I am, which is what a lot of the elites are. These 13 bloodline families are. That means that we don't have the rhesus factor in our blood. Now, within the blood groups, there's lots of different things that make up your blood, but there's, again, two main functions. And this is found in chromosome 9 for everybody. And this is the ABO gene, which establishes which blood group someone belongs to. And these carry the antigens of either A and B. Now, there is the O blood. Now, the O blood basically means you don't have any of those antigens, okay? So an antigen is a substance that provokes a immune system response, and it lies on the top of the red blood cells. And A and B are co-dominant. So what we have then is, if we look at the ABO gene, you can either be type A blood, type B blood, type AB blood, or type O blood. So you have these 4 different categories. But then you have to double that, because then you're either A positive or A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, or O positive and O negative. I'm O negative. That negative or the positive sign is what tells you whether you have the rhesus factor in your blood or not. So 85% of the population, as we covered last time, has the rhesus factor. 15% of the population does not carry the rhesus factor, and that's like myself, does not. So y'all want to know about the different personality traits associated with each type?
Yeah, just before we get into that, Brice, do you know the rhesus factor? If you could just tell us, can you just tell us exactly, what does it mean to have the rhesus factor or not?
Okay,
Is it a good thing to have it? Because I know you said the population, 80% of the population have the rhesus factor. So
yeah.
What does that mean that they have it?
So the rhesus factor is a protein in your blood, and it's named after the rhesus monkey. All right. And so I absolutely think evolution is a sham. It's a narrative they're pushing on us, so we don't know who we are. Mm-hmm. Right. So we're not special. Yeah. We're just some accident that happened. However, if you watch many scientists who have tried to study the rhesus negative, which is what I am, that means that my DNA does not connect to evolution, because I don't carry this particular protein in my blood. And so scientists have scratched their head at this. Is this just a mutation? Or as some scientists say, people who are Rh negative are a different species. Okay, so if we look at that word species, what does that mean? Are they trying to tell us that we are a combination of different extraterrestrial life? That we are genetically coded by different beings? Maybe. I don't know. That's what's exciting, is we've yet to learn all this. I'm sure the elites know, but we don't know. We hear about these lizard people and the Draco and the Pleiadians and how they're all kind of in the mix as well. So the rhesus factor is a protein. Now, it's the D factor of the rhesus that they're looking for. There is a very small percent of people, actually, I think the number is like 47 people to be exact, who are rhesus Rh null, meaning they have absolutely nothing in them that comes from anything of planet Earth, right, within this protein. Only 47 people on the planet, guys, that have this. And they have to keep their identities hidden, because otherwise scientists would be trying to study them like crazy. And they also have to do blood transfusions. They have to take blood out each year, every 6 months, so in case they need a transfusion, because they can't take anybody else's blood. So it's a dangerous blood to have in that sense, that there's not a whole lot available for them if they need an organ transplant or whatever. But so that's the rhesus factor. That's just a protein. Now, for women, most women will
Brice, how do you spell rhesus?
Oh, it's not spelled as like
peanut butter cup
candy. Let me Google it to make sure I'm spelling it correctly. So while I'm Googling this, so for women normally know if they're Rh negative or positive, because if you're a female and you're Rh negative, you will have a hard time carrying a baby who is Rh positive. Your body will try to get rid of the baby. So Tom, that's RHESUS.
Sorry, say that one more. RHESUS.
RHESUS, yeah, rhesus factor.
Thank
you.
So
that's why a lot of women have had to know their blood type. So if your husband or partner is Rh positive and you're a woman and you're carrying and you're Rh negative, and you and you carry an Rh positive baby, now we have medical, like my sister, 2 of her kids are Rh positive. She had to have a lot of shots. Now medicine can help them carry the baby but that's always been the concern. But an Rh positive woman can carry an Rh negative baby just fine. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Majority of people who are Rh negative come from European descent. They believe that the bloodline started in Europe, and that's why. But there are some Africans and Asians that do carry this bloodline too, but majority of the people are white people, basically of European descent. So anyway, so does that make sense?
It does. So basically, it's to do with the editing of the DNA and where we're really from. I mean, if we're 100% from Earth,
right,
or if you've got something else in you, and you're saying that the 47 people have nothing to do with Earth.
Nothing. Yeah. They're a freaky phenomenon. And in fact, it was until like the 1960s that scientists thought that if you were born Rh null, that you wouldn't survive childhood. But in the 1960s, they found a woman in Australia who had made it to adulthood. And now we're seeing more and more people able to survive. And it really just comes down to the fact that if you're Rh null, you're not going to be able to take an organ, because organ transplants the bloods have to match, because the blood is literally the circulation of your life force, right? It's if you lose too much blood, what happens? You're gone. That's it. Lights out, So, and your blood type can't change. You can't change it. So for example, if you're A positive, let's just say that you're type A positive. So that means that you carry the A antigen in your blood. So you have the A antigen, and if you're positive, you're A antigen, and you have the rhesus factor within your blood. Okay. Those people, do you guys want to hear personality traits for these people?
Yes.
Okay. So these people are usually pretty tense people. They struggle a lot with stress. They have higher cortisol levels. They're stubborn. They're earnest. They can be very responsible, but they can also be patient and reserved, sensible, creative. They are prone to cancer. They're prone to cancer, and they have a really hard time handling stress, as we said, because of their higher levels of cortisol in their body. And they are also prone to anxiety-related issues like OCD. Okay, so if you if you're an A-type blood, you have the A antigen in your body, and this is ringing a bell to you. When I started learning about my blood type, I was like, holy crap, like this all makes sense. Now everything makes sense. Of little personality quirks that I have, now this makes sense. Okay, and type A people, now this is not medical advice. This is just something interesting. Please talk to your doctors before taking any medical advice. But these people do really well as vegans. Meat is not good for a type A blood person, okay? And they need to avoid things like kidney beans and dairy. They're really good on full-on plant-based diets. Yeah. And so this is the second most common blood type in the world. So if you are A positive, then you're in luck, because if you ever need a blood transfusion, you've got the second most popular blood. You can take blood from a O negative person like myself. You can take blood from an O positive person, because the O people don't have any antigens to interact with your A. Your A will be fine. And you can take blood from another A positive or another A negative. So we have famous A blood types are George Bush, Hitler was an A, Jet Li, Britney Spears, and Richard Nixon. Now, most people, again, who are powerful and who are elite would be A negative, because they would not carry. My boyfriend is A negative. He doesn't carry the rhesus factor like myself. We are both negatives. So that's for the A. Now we have the B, and my sister is a type B blood, and this is her to a T. She's B negative. She doesn't carry the Rh negative. So type B blood people, so whether you're B positive or B negative, you have 50 times more strains of good bacteria than any other group. That's super healthy and awesome. They're easygoing. My sister is super laid back and easygoing. Least likely to struggle with depression. They usually go with the flow. Doesn't mean they can't struggle with depression. Of course, everybody can struggle with it, but they're the least likely to. They're very positive people. They're often called innocent, very innocent. They do things at their own pace. Sometimes this could be a negative trait because they want to be their own boss. They're very tender-hearted people. They're down to earth in their relationships. And they should avoid high-fat food because blood clots are higher for this group. So if you're a B, if you have the B antigen, and you need to avoid high fatty foods like steaks because you are more likely to get blood clots. Okay, does not get sick easily, and 85 or 8.5, percent of the world's population is B, so it's a rare blood. And if you're B negative, you're even rarer. Creative, and they don't like confrontations. Now, exercise for an A type, like tennis. My sister was a huge tennis player, went all over playing tennis. For B types, that would be something like Tai Chi, something very relaxing. Then we get to AB people. Now, AB people carry both A and B antigens. If you're AB negative was Princess Diana. Okay, she's very, 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 very rare, AB negative. AB positive is also rare as well because AB is now both the A antigens and the B antigens. So these result into pretty complicated and complex personality types because they carry both the personality traits of the laid back B, but the really OCD A, right? So there's kind of this conflicting energy with these different antigens. They can be very fun people, be the life of the party. So if you have a friend who's AB, their blood, then they're probably the life of the party and really exciting and, know how to have a good time. They're humanist. They're very logical people. They're trustworthy and they're composed. They also have very low stomach acid. All right. So they should be eating things like seafood, light dairy, and green vegetables, but they should avoid caffeine, alcohol, and cured or smoked meats because of the way that the body is responding to that DNA code that's in their blood. Now, famous people who were AB, Barack Obama, Marilyn Monroe, JFK, and Jackie Chan. So now, again, most of those people are probably AB negative because they're elite, and elite are all, for the most part, negative, right? So that brings us to O-type O-type without any antigens, which I'm O negative. So I have no antigens and I have no rhesus factor in my blood. So that means that for me to receive blood, if I had to have a blood transfusion, I can give my blood to everyone, but I can only receive blood from other O negative people. Okay. So that's the downfall of being O negative. So the personality types of an O person, they're go-getters. They're very daring. They're high achievers. And this is funny because my boyfriend, who I have an incredible relationship with, Tom knows my boyfriend, we're most easy to offend people with type A blood. And Todd and I have a great relationship, so that's kind of funny. So they're very kind and generous, and they do well with hard work. O people are very optimistic. They're very loyal. They're peaceful people. And the Japanese people really look at blood types for matching people together. This is big in Japanese culture. And O people are called warriors. We're the people they want to send type O people into battle because they're loyal, they're high achievers, right? That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Very focused, and they're often more focused on the big picture than like the details, which can be a problem. Now, O people do have tummy issues, which I do as well, very bad digestive system. And that's also a trait for Rh negative as well. And it said, and this is the one place where I'm different because I follow more of an A diet where I'm a vegetarian, but a lot of O people need to be high protein in order to eat for their blood type. Famous people who are type O blood, Queen Elizabeth II, Paul Newman, Elvis Presley, and Ronald Reagan. Now, most of them are O negative, again, because they're elite people. So they don't have the rhesus factor in their blood. Type O personalities do really well with high intense exercise, which I exercise a lot. So that makes sense. So as far as rank, 42% of the population is O positive. 31% of the population is A positive. 15% of the population is B positive. 5% of the population is AB positive. 3% of the population is O negative, which is what I am. 2.5% of the population is A negative, which is what my boyfriend is. 1% of the population is B negative, and 0.5% of the population is AB negative. Now, as far as like the spiritual side, type O blood, because it carries no antigens, is the blood of the quote unquote gods with a lowercase g, aliens, whatever you want to call it, off planet. So if you're O negative, that means your blood is 100% not really from this planet. Okay. O negative, which is what I am, which is what the royal family is. Hence why the special bloodline, the lizard people, all that stuff we hear about, that we've learned about in this Great Awakening.
You trying to tell us something, Brice?
Yeah,
I know.
I was going to say, maybe she can, transform, and she's not telling us.
No, I said this, and I will say this too. I'm blue in the face. If I ever learn how to do this, if I ever learn how to shapeshift, I'm not going to change species. I'm going to shapeshift myself into a 6-pack. That's going to be my first goal, is to be, as I get older, is to be able to change, but that's just the truth of the matter. Now, if you're A positive, that means that you are type 1 human. If you're A negative, you're type 1 human mixed with alien blood. If you're B positive, you're type 2 human. If you're B negative, you're type 2 human mixed with alien blood. Okay. If you're AB positive, that means you're type 1 and type 2 human combined. If you're AB negative, you're type 1 and type 2 human mixed with alien or whatever blood. Okay. And then O positive is you're mixed with alien blood and human rhesus factor, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It does. So what's the one to be? What does
blood?
What do people want to be?
Oh, they're all special. They all have their own special traits, and they all have their own.
What's this, Brice? What's that?
Blood or the snake? I don't know. it's blood.
Reptile, you mean?
I don't know. Blood flowing through the system. Yeah.
Okay.
My mind, blood flowing through your body. So, again, if you are ever unfortunate in the situation where you have to have like an organ transplant, like say you need another kidney, one of your kidneys has failed you. Okay. That happened to my aunt, happens to a lot of people. So what they have to do in order to find a viable another kidney to put into you is they have to look at your blood, because again, your blood is your DNA coding. So they cannot take a kidney. If you are, let's say you're O negative like myself and I need a kidney, I could not take a kidney from someone who is O positive, because that kidney, the DNA coding has the rhesus factor in it and my body doesn't. And so my body would reject the kidney. If you take an O positive blood and you put it into someone, into a blood transfusion into someone like me who's O negative, it would kill us. Yeah. But if you take O negative and put it into O positive, they would survive. And so that's really important from the medical world, to know your blood type. And doctors, if you ever are in that situation where you need a blood transfusion or a new organ, the doctors will always double check your blood to make sure that you're going to match with, and a lot of your family members will get tested to see if they can give you their, my grandfather gave my aunt his kidney, because you inherit this patterning from your family. You inherit it from your parents. Right. And so now the elites, they do think that they're special, because of whatever. But from my research, we're all special. The blood is just, it's your vehicle in this world. And so whatever your soul's destiny was to do, your body, it's like your car. Like if you're going to, United States of America is a huge country, and I've driven across it before. It's like a 4-day journey, right? If you're going to drive across the United States of America, you have to have a reliable car. You have to have a car that's going to be able to do that job. Mm-hmm. So whatever your soul's mission was in this lifetime, it needed a reliable vehicle that was going to be able to allow it to complete its mission. Does that make sense? And so the genetic coding in your blood was given to you by God, by the creator, by the universe, in order for your soul to do what it needed to do on this earth plane. So, and that's, do what? Sorry.
Oh, no, please. I was going to ask you a question, but.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I was going to say, by finding out the blood group, which blood group you are, you can have a look into what you're here for, and it could give you signs and help you to fulfill your mission.
Absolutely. That's what it's done for me. It's right. Answered. I had so many issues in my life, like little health issues here and there, that never seemed to be connected. And until I realized that it was my blood type, everything made sense. And so I was able to modify my diet, modify everything in order to give my body the best fuel for what it needs. An apple a day doesn't keep the doctor away for everyone, mm-hmm. right? Our diet is very specific to you as your own person. And you need to talk to your doctor about this as well. However, as we move forward in this great awakening, again, there's so much that they've held back from us that they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know how powerful we are. An A positive person is just as powerful as an O negative person, but in a different way. right? Like in a different way. And as Charlie says, we all have a piece of the puzzle. And when we come together as Earth, now we're all Earthlings, even though we might not be from this planet originally, we all live here now. As we come together, as humanity comes together and we understand this more, we can walk together and help each other, if that makes sense. And part of that is just understanding who you are, what your DNA is, what your lineage is, where you come from. Everybody has a story to tell. Everyone is special. Everyone, not just the elite. We all are, So, and that's just even if it just helps you with your overall health to feel better. So you don't, if you're eating wrong for your blood type and you change your diet, you'll feel better, and you feel better, you do better, So
yeah. So why is it that the elites choose, especially royal family, they choose certain bloodlines to be in the family? I mean, why is it? What is it that they're looking for, and why?
From what I understand, from my research and just what I know about my history with my great-great-great-grandfather who was born into the English royal family, they view, now you have to understand that a lot of these people, not all of them, but a lot of them would be what we call psychopaths, okay. Where they don't have, there's not like we have emotional connections to people, right? Like you probably go through your life and you don't think about what somebody's blood type is to love them, or where they come from to love them, right? Like you never really think about that. Like you don't go around your day thinking, oh, that person might be that, but they do. Because when you have the pure, what they call the pure blood. So if you don't have the rhesus factor in your blood, they consider that to be pure blood. I don't. I think we're all special, but they consider that to be pure. And with that purity comes a potency to be able to do certain things that maybe connect to off-world beings. I hope that makes sense.
Right.
Like the Draco or the Anunnaki, and more and more and more of this stuff will probably come out as we start to wake up more. If you're just waking up, this might sound literally batshit crazy, but just keep going. It'll all make sense. And so they, how they want to control, right? This idea of controlling everybody, this 1% controlling the world. They want to make sure they are breeding people who carry these specific DNA qualities. Yeah. Now, with that being said, just because you're born into a bloodline family doesn't mean that you're going to be a bad person. There's many people that have been whistleblowers that have walked out of these families and left these families behind. Many, many people who have said no, because their soul, even though their body was this, their soul wasn't. And we all have free will. We all have a choice to make. So they want to create like this brood of people that they feel like can then dominate this planet, right? And make everybody else their slaves. Now, they also allegedly do something called soul jumping. So they're able to jump their soul into a new body. So they also want to, if an older person dies in these families and they can get a younger person pregnant and their soul can jump in. I've heard that as well. And so they're trying to create a new body for their soul. This is all alleged. We'll learn as we go on, but anyway, that's, in my opinion, why they do try to keep specific blood types within their family. So
interesting. Wow, that is amazing information, Brice. Is it Brice or Brice? I'm really, really sorry. Brice. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
Excellent information. I really enjoyed that. I think it's just what I needed. You've actually made me curious, and I'm sure you've made many of the viewers also curious to just call the doctors and just find out what blood group we are, so we can start reading and finding out which foods are good for us and what personality traits we have, and also what mission we're here to fulfill,
Yeah. What car are you in? What's your car?
Yeah, I mean, what if I do? Yeah, or well, which exactly. Yeah. What? Right, that would be very interesting. Imagine
you can actually order. You can go online. They have little testing kits. That's what my boyfriend did a few weeks ago, where you just prick your finger and you can put it on, and it will show you. Like, it's pretty accurate. So if you can't get a hold of your doctor and you want to know your blood type, you just Google it, and you can order one right to your house that will tell you. Right, you just have to be able to prick your own finger. I know some people hate doing that, but you have to be able to get the blood out of your body to test it.
Of course.
So yeah.
Well, guys, we are. Go on, Tom.
Are we nearly up, Nick?
We're nearly up. We're almost running out of time, but absolutely, please, if there's anything that you'd like to share with us, Tom, please go ahead.
Just real quick, yeah. Brice, how do you spell null? Is it N-U-L or N-U-L-L?
2 L's.
2 L's, okay. Okay, so it's not quite okay, so, null comes to 59 then, with the 2 L's comes to Joker, like Joker card. So that kind of makes sense. And if it's 47 people, then that comes to John, 47, you know. So you mentioned earlier, you talked about the Book of Enoch. If you do book 43, comes to Todd, your great boyfriend. Hey, Todd, if you're listening, buddy.
Right, Todd.
I'll tell you.
He will listen. He will. And then if you do Book of Enoch, so Enoch comes to 45, think 45th president. Also Spade, the most spiritual and highest valued card in the deck, 45, President Trump. So Book of Enoch comes to 109, which comes to Diana Spencer. You mentioned about her being AB negative. 109 also comes to the number. If you spell the word 17, comes to 109. Comes to Zapruder, the Zapruder film comes to Saturday, comes to Parliament, comes to my number, my channel, Psych Club, and some other things you mentioned. You talked about Warriors. Warriors comes to 121, which comes to the Trump, which is cool. Revelation, Golden Jubilee as well for Warriors, 121. Earthling, you said Earthling. Earthling comes to 94, John. And Earthlings comes to 113, comes to Trumpet, comes to Universe, comes to Melania, 55, Heaven, plus Ivanka, 58, which is XRP, which is Nasara, which is Star. Add them together, you get 113, which is Universe and Trumpet. And Factor comes to 63, made me think of Paris with Diana. You said D Factor, D is 4, add them together, comes to 67 again, which is Reset, Exchange. And you talked about the analogy of the onion. So onion actually comes to 67 as well, which is Reset and Exchange. I feel like I'm on Countdown with that British program where they come up with the numbers with Rachel. And so anyway, that's the people in the UK will know what that one. There's a few others. Blood is 48, which is Tom, James, some other things. And you said towards the end of your piece, you said pure blood. So pure blood, pure is 60, diamond, blood is 48, add them together comes to 108. Comes to Twilight, comes to Mr. Ed Root, comes to Hoverboard, comes to our buddy Jack Edward Kidd, 108. And if you do the pure blood, takes you to 141, which comes to Looking Glass, time travel, comes to reincarnation, and it comes to one of the ways to say my name, Tom Bushnell. So thanks for that. I thought that was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Be free. Go and research who you are and break those chains that have been cast upon you and learn everybody watching is a special, special person, uniquely anointed and created by the Creator. And so everything about you is powerful. Take that power back. Start by looking at your DNA coding.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
No, it's amazing. It's made me very curious. And like Alex Collier likes to say, the currency of the cosmic universe is not money, it's DNA and consciousness.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, the more you learn, right?
Consciousness is 175, which is Diana Francis Spencer. And it's also Vladimir Putin. We know that this version of Vladimir is working very closely with President Trump. So
absolutely.
Wow. Well, Brice, no, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd both like to say to the viewers before we finish? Brice, you go first.
The best is yet to come, guys. We're all special, and I can't wait to hear everybody's stories of what they found out about themselves, because we're all walking each other home. We're all in this together.
Absolutely. Go on, Tom.
Thanks, Nick. It's great to see you again, buddy. And thanks, Brice. It's brilliant to work with you again. Just everybody on my channel, on Psych Club, on YouTube, come and follow Nick on his YouTube, because he's going to put this one up because we were good. And also follow Brice on Esoteric Atlanta. Yeah. And also Nick Telegram and all of his other channels. So
and Tom will send me you send me the links for Brice as well, and I'll put them below in the description.
I will.
For the viewers.
I will, for sure.
Follow you guys, and thank you so much to the viewers as well for sharing the videos and being part of this movement with us as well.
Absolutely.
Because you are a big part of we wouldn't be here without you. And we're all connected, and we're all here to spread awareness to our families and friends and our social media buddies. And we're doing a fantastic job. And I love you all very much. And God bless you. And thank you. And we'll speak very soon. Okay.
Cheers, buddy. Take care. Take care, Brice.
Bye.